everybody, be careful. Eberts is in the house.
Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun.
He's going to tell the fish about us.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Hey.
Good to see you guys. Boy, it's been a while.
I know. It's been
friendly
ages.
Sarah. Sarah's here.
Person on the phone.
Sarah's muted.
Uh-oh, and here comes... Here comes...
You better behave, Mike.
Oh, he's already here? Paul's here?
Paul is here.
He's muted, it looks like.
Yeah, but that doesn't have a webcam, but...
No, you can just flash there, but I'll put it up. So
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Paul, we can't see or hear you.
Where's Paul at? Let's find...
He's invisible.
He needs to unmute himself.
Who remembers this T-shirt?
Oh my gosh, yes!
Melissa, are you trying to get in again? Somebody's got your name on here.
Hello, can you hear me?
And you're in here. Okay, somebody's impersonating Melissa Kavanaugh.
Oh no. That's not allowed.
That's not good. We're going to remove that. We don't allow a person to try to get in. Sorry.
Mike and Sarah.
Yeah, so...
Are you on the video?
Wait, where'd Paul go? Did he leave?
Paul's coming?
There he is.
Did you put your name?
Hey, Paul.
Hi.
Yeah, they want to verify that.
You handsome devil.
That's
You hear me?
attractive. Obviously, I'll be
We hear you.
Hi, Paul.
Do I look fat? How do I look?
You
You
look
look
great.
wonderful.
Well, I have to find my light.
Yeah, you sexy beast.
How is it possible you have not changed a bit? How is that even possible?
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I fishing for a compliment? Stop.
Oh.
Was I? Hey, you guys, how you doing, everybody?
Great now. Wonderful.
Here.
We're doing great. Welcome,
Yeah.
What's going
welcome.
on, Amanda?
Hey there,
Where's-
Paul.
Where's Vinny?
We're still waiting for him.
Who is Stacy?
I don't know.
Come in.
She's not putting her last name on, and I don't know who that is.
Is that R2? R2, Stacy?
I don't know.
Does she spell her name S-T-A-C-E-Y?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably her. We'll go ahead and
Okay. We'll let her in and see who it is, and hopefully
What's Stacy?
we don't have to
We'll
kick
get
this
Zoom
person
bombed.
out.
It'll be great.
Paul's got the right idea with the wine going on.
Well, that's my 6th today. No, I'm kidding. Mike, where's Sarah?
This is my 4th. I don't let it ever get empty. So
She's on the
Still
line.
on my
She's here.
Is your
Just
thing on?
logged in a second ago. I saw her.
Paul, are you in the forest? What are you doing, man? What is this? What am I seeing back there?
What about Shannon?
I just texted them.
Yeah, she hasn't come in yet, neither has Vince.
Vinny's warming up. He's coming in.
Okay.
Well,
There's somebody, I wish people would put their names. I've got
I'm
an
gonna go-
Eddie here. I don't know.
Yeah. What's up with Eddie? We don't know an Eddie that would be actually trying to get in this
I guess
room.
the background, yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Somebody
You guys
pretending
not
to be me.
No, or
no, we
Ed?
know. Most of us do.
Eddie who? Eddie.
Yeah, that's the question.
Not Eddie Jones.
No, obviously not. Unfortunately, yeah.
Anita may be joining us, Eddie's wife. So I told her. So hopefully
Oh, that would be wonderful.
That would be great.
Excellent.
That would
We'll
be
try.
awesome.
We'll give her a try. Give people the benefit of the doubt.
There she is.
Hey, Anita.
Hi.
Hello.
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 I remember meeting you at the theater for Death of a Salesman. You had directed, Eddie, and I think it was West Hollywood or North Hollywood. It was a wonderful play.
Oh, Anita, your microphone is muted. There you go.
Okay. There you are.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi, Anita.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you. That's
Thanks for
awesome.
asking. Oh, Eddie would have so enjoyed this.
Oh,
Oh,
I know. We would have loved to have seen him too.
oh, yes, so much.
I'm going to miss those trees behind Paul.
Say that
Dan,
again, Paul.
Dan.
Dan Ubel?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Dan, the producer director, Dan.
No, Dan Ubel.
Okay.
He went by Dungeon Dan.
Oh.
He did all the effects, Paul. He did the gland and any sort of prosthetics.
Oh. That would be cool to talk to Dan.
Yeah, I invited him. I'm hoping he got my message. And we've got 32 participants so far.
Cheers.
Yeah, I'm showing 2 pages of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on, Stacy?
What's up, Paul? Good to see you.
Where are you, Florida? Are you in Florida?
No, I'm in Georgia. I'm in Georgia.
What's that near? Is that near anything?
Well, it's near Atlanta.
I'm kidding. Georgia's a big place. I usually say that about Ohio and Iowa, but anyway.
Ohio represent.
All right.
Probably Minnesota too.
Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
If you go to full screen, you will see more people.
Shannon, oh, here we go.
Shannon's here. She's coming.
She's coming.
I just let her in the room.
Yeah.
She's connecting.
There she is.
Hey.
There you are. Hey,
Lower
Shannon.
left corner, click on mute.
Oh.
You're on mute.
Unmute.
Lower left-hand corner of the screen. Lower
She's
left.
our little
There you
princess.
go.
Hey.
Hey. Welcome.
Where's Mike?
There she is.
I'm right here.
Oh, Mike, I had to install the whole thing again.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I've been on Zoom before. Paul.
Where are you, Shannon? Are you in LA?
Yeah.
Fabulous. How's Nestor Carbonell?
He's there helping me. He's good. Thank you.
Give him a hug for me.
Yeah, tell him I say hi.
I will. You want to come and pop your head in, Nest?
Yes.
Hop in and say hello.
You could
I
say
know,
hi.
I will. Nestor! Can you come and pop your head in and say hi?
It'll be just like Comic-Con.
Yeah.
This is better than Comic-Con.
Where's the Sharpies?
I think Mr. Ventresca has arrived.
Oh, good.
Disguised as his wife.
Where are they? I just called Diane today. Where are they?
You guys are in touch, are you?
Yeah. Although, since lockdown, I haven't seen him. Here he is.
Unmute.
We can hear you.
Nestor, hi.
Hi, Nestor.
guys?
Hi.
Oh my God.
There he is.
All right. Now.
Oh, look, the dog's coming out.
Hello.
Diane Ventresca's here too.
Hey. Hey, Vince.
Wow. How's it going?
There
Look
you
at
are.
this.
Hi.
Thanks.
Still the
Yes,
amazing
hello.
hair.
I
How
can't.
is everybody? Oh, Edward.
Can anybody hear me?
There.
Hi,
No, we can't hear you, sweetheart. Sorry. Yes, we hear you.
I have been trying to get my audio to work for like 20 minutes.
Oh.
Killing me. Hi, Diane.
Much later than me, Vinny.
Oh.
Great to see everybody.
Okay.
Where were you, Vinny? Tucking in the kitties?
No, I had to go. We're at a friend's house, and I wanted to come here and do the meeting. And guess what? My wife was late. So
Blame it on the old wife routine. Oh,
yeah.
old wife routine.
Wow, it's so incredible. Mike, people introduce themselves?
Well, yeah, if you guys want to go around, well, I mean, that could take a while, but if you want it, we can do that.
Yeah, why not?
I would like to.
All right, let's do it. It's been 20 years. Why not?
I'll go first.
Amanda? Okay.
She's talking to somebody. I think she's probably troubleshooting.
Yeah,
Well,
somebody's having trouble getting in.
well, I'm Mrs. Spooky. Hello.
Hey, I remember you. Oh, hello.
Yeah, you're my baby. Sorry. Phil. Oh, always my baby. Yeah. Love you to death, but
Awesome.
good to see everybody.
Well, you love the show so much. I remember reading your comments and stuff.
Yeah, well,
Do
some of those.
you remember that?
Yeah,
She did. She started off wanting to boycott Invisible Man.
Oh yes.
Because you guys took the G versus E time slot,
Yeah.
and I had to talk them into watching the show.
Yeah, him and Mike too. You know, it's like because it's like stupid sci-fi. Well, I watched it, and it's like, oh, this is great. And you know, that's all she wrote. But anyway,
so you're welcome.
Oh, hey, real quick, Mike, are you the host of this Zoom meeting?
I am not. No.
I think Amanda's.
Amanda and Laura are.
And then Laura.
Do you need something, Vinny, or what do you need?
It would be great to record it.
We are recording right now.
We are recording.
Oh, great.
Oh, fabulous. Okay, well, next. I'm done. I don't want to monopolize.
You got a monologue you're working on, Vince? You want to try out?
Maybe he would do the Daria rap.
Why don't we?
You got a scene you want to hear? Send it over to me. We'll do it.
No, you go. You go.
Hey, why don't we instead of going all the way around and introducing everybody, why don't we like put everybody else on mute, and Vinny, Paul, and Shannon and I, we can just like, and Anita can just rap for a couple minutes and just kind of, is that okay, you guys? I don't want to commandeer this at all, but I mean.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. That was actually the plan. I think we just kind of got a little excited.
Vinny's so gracious. He wants to meet everybody. He's like, everyone introduce yourself.
Are too young.
Amanda, why don't you stay on with us and you could help, sort of maybe, I don't know, people could chime in and, you know.
Yeah, I'm hosting here, so I'll keep an eye on people. If anybody wants to talk, maybe they can raise their hand. Use the raise hand feature. That might be a little bit easier than talking over each other. But please, Cass, please make sure you unmute yourself. And go ahead, Mike. You're our host. Or
I called this meeting, right?
Yeah, you're the moderator.
I'm the moderator. I'm the guy tracking this. 20 years ago, on a Friday, didn't we premiere on a Friday, guys? I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah.
I got married. Like on a Monday, and then on a Friday, Iman came out. So it was like the best week of my life. So it was great. And I can't believe it's been 20 years later, you guys. I look back on this, and we watched the pilot. I had my family watch the pilot. They loved it.
Before this Zoom, you wanted to watch the pilot to catch up?
Yeah, I had to watch it.
Before this Zoom meeting?
No, yesterday. Or no, actually, it was actually on the 9th, the actual day it premiered, and I watched it.
You actually, you got a heartfelt historical experience. Very nice.
I love this show, Paul. I love it.
Vinny, did you watch it yesterday?
No, seriously, Mike, did it? So it held up? You liked it?
Oh, exactly.
The first half holds up phenomenally. It's so good. It's so tight. It's a proto Marvel movie. You know, like you are funny and self-deprecating and everything just flows, and you are the Ant-Man and like all those prototypical superhero, comic book types quipping away. The second half's pretty good too. Paul gives it quite a boost when he shows up. But the whole thing's still great, and so I really enjoyed it. It was fun. But that first 20 or 30 minutes is just gangbusters. I can't believe how good it still is.
Wow.
How did you watch it? On streaming somehow or DVD?
NBC.com.
Okay. And is it still where you can only see the first season and you can't get the second one? How does that?
You can see everything. You can see all of it.
Oh, it's all.
Yeah.
In entirety, or not broken up into mini episodes or anything like that? Just you can watch it an episode at a time.
You can watch the whole episode. I think there's commercial breaks. But they're short. So
Vinny's really good in the pilot, is he?
The pilot, right, Paul? Are you in the pilot?
Yeah.
Shannon. Go Shannon. Go Shannon.
Birthday?
Shannon is phenomenal from that point on. She's amazing.
From after the pilot.
Yes, after the pilot.
You're in the second episode, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm not in the pilot.
I think so.
You don't remember that?
Yeah, yes, I do, but I didn't know. I
Not
thought
really.
it was in the second half of the pilot. No.
Vinny had his girlfriend, Rebecca Chambers, who promised that she would never leave him.
Yeah.
And then she was gone.
Isn't that the wife of your brother? No.
My brother?
Oh, I was the girlfriend of your brother.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
For the story. Yeah, you were.
I didn't like my first episode.
Why not?
But then just me in that. But then I liked every other one because I was Australian and then I turned British. So,
really? I don't remember that.
my accent went like across the Atlantic.
Did you do that on purpose?
No. Yeah, no, because they had these Aussie sayings in the first one, and then I was so shy. Like, I didn't have my own voice as a person, so I didn't ask them, should I be Australian or British? So I sort of just melted the two accents, and then I decided I'm just going to be British. Because they had me calling you mate, and
yeah, I
it was
remember.
weird. It was weird. I should have just said something. I don't know why I did.
I would have liked his Australian. I would have liked his Australian.
A show of hands, who knew that she changed her accent?
Maybe I did a very bad British accent. It was meant to be British.
I didn't know. I didn't know you changed your accent, Shannon.
I vaguely remember you making that change, and I think we may have had it rings a bell in my mind. I feel like we may have had a conversation about
that. I don't know what the accent was. It was.
Well, you were fabulous no matter what you did. It didn't matter. Great.
Yeah. It was her accent. I don't know. Yeah, like she'd been a few places. But it wasn't, by that point, I had a pretty strong American accent.
You guys all know that Shannon and I were friends before the show?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We were friends, and I knew she was testing for it, and we were all very nervous. And then Shannon didn't call me. Matt called me right away and said she crushed it.
Oh, that's testing again. Somebody I knew, though.
Yeah, I forget her name.
It wasn't Alicia, was it? No, I can't remember. Yeah.
Vinny, you're still in touch with Matt Greenberg, right?
Yeah, I invited him, but he just sent me a text saying, hold on, I'll read it to you.
What are you growling at?
Hey, Vince, thanks for the invite. My daughter, Faith, graduated today from high school, and we're having a celebration break tonight, so I'm afraid I won't be able to make it. Hope it goes great. Tell everyone I said hey. So
we're both he had a 2020 graduate?
Yeah.
Vinny and I did too.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. So everyone was having babies in 2002, or is that right?
2000, yeah.
Yeah.
No, 2002.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So Shannon and Vinny, you both have 20-year-old children? 18-year-olds.
Yeah, I have a 20 and an 18. Shannon has an 18 and
a 15.
And a 15.
Yeah.
And Mike, how old are your kids?
16 and 12. So.
And Paul, how old are your children?
I have a 7-year-old. I got a 22-year-old. I got a few half kids. I got a lot of kids.
I actually know your love life because we have a good friend. Do you know who Carlos Gomez is, guys?
Yeah, good friend of mine. I just did Baker and the Beauty with him, and he's a great. And I met him on iMan.
Oh my gosh, he was on Invisible Man. He was on the episode, the Lady of the Lake episode.
Eleonora. What was it?
Eleonora, LaLenora, yeah.
Yeah, LaLenora.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember him. But
I don't remember.
He was just with Paul, and he explained all your love life to me. You're complicated.
How does he know Paul's love life?
They're friends. Like you had lots of drinks together and stuff.
So you just want to tell everybody online about it?
No, I would never.
Paul, what did you do?
I actually don't remember a bit of it. I don't remember a whole lot.
Paul, what show did you do with him?
I did iMan 16. No, I did Baker and the Beauty.
It's kind of a hit show on ABC, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's good.
A scumbag.
That guy's a good actor.
Great.
Yeah, Carlos is great, and he's an amazing Broadway actor.
Really?
He can sing and dance.
I remember we were screwing around and he was very serious. Remember that, Paul?
Yes.
You guys were always screwing around.
And I could tell he wasn't up for joking so much, and Paul was demanding that we be joking, so it was a little uncomfortable.
Yike.
I remember.
I played the fifth.
I remember I was doing a scene with you, Paul, and Carlos, and I did something on camera. And
do you want to act it out?
No, it was I sort of passed wind.
You farted?
Yes, you don't remember that?
Wait a minute.
And I fessed up to it too.
As you're doing again 20 minutes later. Bravo.
Oh, I forgot that.
And Vinny was just like.
Oh, I think I do remember now, actually. It is.
I'm glad we're recording this because I want to take that little snippet and, put it out into the World Wide Web.
Yeah, it's going to ruin my career.
No.
Does it feel like 20 years to you guys?
Not that I really... 7, 8, maybe 12, not 20.
Well, as I look at us, I feel like I'm the only one who looks 20 years older.
Oh, I feel 50 years older. I feel it's weird. It's weird. I don't feel any. There's a part of me that doesn't feel older, but like, man, having kids it is a lot. Holy smokes.
You feel like it's been 20 hard years. Like the years have been like, you feel the 20 years.
I do. But I mean, I feel, I don't know. Like I said, there's a part of me that feels the same. But
you're still a kid, though, I think.
What's that?
You're still a big kid.
Yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the frame of reference of 20 years, I just remember old people saying 20 years ago, and I was like, damn, that dude's old. Like, because I never had that frame of reference, and now I do.
Yeah. But normally I see people that I haven't seen in 20 years, and I think, God, they look old, but you guys all look young. And then some of you fans look young. Like, I feel like you could have been like 20 years ago.
Some of them were, Shannon. Some of them really loved our show. So,
oh, that's amazing.
I will say that I have the Zoom filter on right now, so it smooths out your skin. You should try that.
What is that? Where do you get that?
I'm curious. Is that
you go into the video settings, and it's I didn't have it on. Oh, this is the touch up my appearance. Look at that. See, that's old.
It looks good.
Oh, where is it?
It was right out. I didn't have it on. Okay, so I want to. Hey guys, before we go a little bit deeper, I want to. I just want to give a shout out to Anita and Eddy. Not here, and I am so crushed he couldn't make it for the 20th. So Anita, your mic is muted right now, but
can we hear from Anita? I didn't know Anita was here. I didn't see her. Hey, Anita.
Anita, your mic is muted.
Oh, there you are. Oh.
Lower left hand. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, well, it's so nice to see all of you, and you all look wonderful. And I was just thinking about the beginning of all this. Eddy and I were in Edinburgh after he had, because I was doing something in Edinburgh, and he had to come back early for, he got cast in Invisible Men, and he had to get back here, I mean, a week early, and I remember that so well. He really enjoyed that show a lot. He really did. He enjoyed all of you.
So great. He was such
a he really did.
Do you guys remember seeing him in Death of a Salesman? I think, didn't we all go see him?
I did. Yeah, it was incredible.
Wasn't he so good? Oh my God.
Yeah.
The best I've ever seen.
A couple of people.
And I just want to thank all of you. When you came to visit him, he was so pleased to see all of you.
That was a fun visit. That was a great visit.
So great. Really.
Good man.
You all look wonderful.
So do you.
You too.
You look great, Anita.
No, you should have had another 2 seasons at least. Minimum. If it weren't for 9/11, I swear.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Is that what did it?
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, did you reach out to the lovely lady who joined us?
I didn't quite hear you.
Oh, he's asking if I reached out to Brandy Ledford. I didn't. I probably should have. There was a bunch of people I could have reached out to, including Matt and Craig Silverstein and a bunch of people, and I didn't.
That's okay. There'll be a 21st.
Yeah, we'll do the 21st. So
yeah.
I always feel bad because Brandy did a really good job in the show, and they just wrote her bad. They introduced her in such a bad way, and she upstaged us all in that first scene, and it's like, who the hell is this? And but she was great. She was great, and
and she was great. I thought she was terrific, and she
Does
was
anybody
great.
know where she is?
She's on Facebook once in a while. I'm not. We'll try. I'll track her down. So, but yeah, she's definitely one of the people that I wish I would have remembered. It slipped my mind. I
think it's kind of nice that it's just us. I mean, we could do this again, but it's kind of nice that this was the 18.
Yeah,
the core.
Oh
yeah.
I've been I told Paul and Vinny about this because my son has been watching it on and off, and he's just dazzled at how funny and improvisational the two of you guys are, and how reckless you are with the script. And now that I'm writing on the other side, I can certainly appreciate the writers not being super thrilled with
wanted to kill us. Me personally.
You guys would look at the script and say, "Nah, this sucks. What are we going to say?"
No, that's not true. That's not true. It was all Paul. I would never. No, that's true. Paul, tell them the truth. I mean, I was still.
It was all me.
I was still like, you got to say what's in the script, and then if you're doing a scene with someone who's not saying something that's in the script. You got to say something that corresponds with what he's saying. So that's how we got off script. And it was
all trash, lies, and garbage. Trash, lies, disloyalty, trash, lies.
Oh, you're funny though.
Paul just told me lots of stories that you have to be bold with how you want your character portrayed. And then he told this great story about David Milch. You know that story? You guys remember the story about Paul meeting David Milch? He's doing an episode of NYPD Blue, and he has a long monologue. Okay.
You're cutting out. You're cutting out.
Paul, can you tell that story?
Well, I didn't hear. You cut out a little bit, Vinny. What's going on?
NYPD Blue?
The story that made you confident in your improvisational skills when David Milch came down to the set and you weren't saying his words and you had a long speech?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was just in general, I was much more sort of crazy and daring back then. And I don't do that at all anymore. Like I used to go into auditions and just say what I wanted, did what I wanted. I just kind of went for it. And it worked for me a lot, and so I kept doing it. But then there were times I remember leaving an audition and getting a note, "We'd love to work with Paul, but can he come back and do one word we wrote?" I was like, oh shit. And it wasn't until like a decade later till I realized I wasn't very nice. It's not very nice to do that. And so
it changed the way I act. I mean, I loved it. I mean,
yeah, but you have to be respectful. There's a medium, there's a medium. We were also let loose down there. If anybody doesn't know, we started the show, and then Matt, Vinny could tell us in more detail, but we were kind of left. We lost our showrunner. We were in between showrunners and writers, and we were just sort of left to our own. What's the phrase?
Devices.
Your own devices.
Devices and exploits. And we also had something going on, Vinny. You laughed all the time. We were laughing at each other. There was like no stop. Somebody would have to literally physically pull us apart to stop doing what we were doing. You could blame it all on me. I'll take the blame. But the chemistry was a lot of fun. It's rare to have what we did. It was a lot of fun to do because it went. I remember doing looping with you. Do you remember the Matt?
Yeah.
bit?
Yeah.
That was like my favorite thing of the whole thing. We were in looping. You couldn't see our faces because we were like approaching the house with the bad guys. And we were talking about, what about that Matt? Perry? No. Broderick? No. I was like 15 Matts. LeBlanc, that's the guy, whatever.
It's so funny.
It had nothing to do with, we were just coming into a house, but there were no words. We were just running through the woods, approaching this house. And I have to think, because I was thinking about all these Matts. It was driving me crazy that every little Matt in Hollywood was like, every young guy's name in Hollywood was named Matt. And we were talking about it, and we just did it in the room, and they didn't edit it, but they did edit a bunch of our stuff.
Did that make it in the show?
It did.
It did.
And then I'll say this last thing, the last season, because I wasn't always a team player, and I apologize for that. For the writers, they said, please just do one as we write it. And I was like more resistant. But the last season, it was the scripts came in, and it was like, yeah, well, Hobbs, you're old, and you're bald, and you're short, and and I just remember they started, and I just sat there, and Vinny was like, come on, do something, make it funny. I was like, I'm not saying a word. I'm saying just, because they were upset with me. Remember they started writing me like as bald and old and short.
But why were they mad at you?
Because I was improvising too much, and it was tough for them, or egos or whatever. But you guys, the fans, liked it, and Vinny liked it, so I kept doing it. So all comes back to your fault.
No, it was such a cool way to work, and I was scared, and Paul just had a lot more experience, and I was so I'm like a people pleaser. I still am, and Paul was a little bit more like I was always like, well, Paul, if we do that, it won't work out in the story. And Paul would always say, forget about what comes before and what comes after. I was kind of obsessed with like the whole arc of the story. He was like, just play this moment. Just play this moment. Yeah, and it was really, it worked. It worked.
Because you should have just let them rein you in. And that's what the director should do, right? So many movies are improv. Like Nestor's Friend is in that new, the movie with Bill Pauly's in it. That's his friend, with the kid whose dad died in 9/11. He's famous. He's on Saturday Night Live.
Pete Davidson.
Yes.
Pete Davidson.
That movie was completely improvised. No, there was no script.
Yeah.
And yet there were just circumstances that he would tell the actors. So you have to get from here to here, because this is going to happen tomorrow or whatever. And then they improvise the whole thing.
Well, and I think that style is a little bit more accepted now. I think it's just the way our show was. I mean, we lost our executive producer. It's what Paul said. Ed Letting, he was the line producer guy.
Right.
Remember he said the what's that phrase? The inmates have taken over the asylum.
Yes.
He would say that every day. But that guy was great. God, is he still alive? Is Ed Letting still alive, Mike?
He is, yeah. Sarah wanted to get him in with maybe like in the second round of this.
Yeah, no, he would be great because we would show up because we didn't see dailies at first, and Ed was like, he loved what we were doing, and so he was kind of, I don't know. I mean, the truth is, when Paul tested for the pilot, I couldn't stop laughing. I've told this story a million times. Paul's testing. There were about 3 other guys. Paul just made me laugh so hard, and I feel terrible, like I'm screwing up his audition. And then Paul walked out, and then David Icke, the guy who created, he was the executive producer, and he went on to do Battlestar Galactica. David Icke said, "Look, it's obvious it's Paul. Just see if you can keep him on script." And he walked out the door. But man,
because we improv'd a lot during the audition, right?
You did, yeah. But it was really, But also, it was that audition scene was that great introduction in the pilot where we meet.
Right.
Where we meet, and it was good. I love the show so much. It was so kind of heartbreaking when it went away, but I don't know if I could watch the pilot. All the characters were it had such a good heart. It was so funny.
I remember, Anita, you'll like this. This is a great Eddy Improv. It must have been towards the end, and I think the four of us had this improv going, and Eddy was just being real. And remember we were talking about candy bars? You don't remember this? We were all, we were getting into this side chat about candy bars when there was all this conflict, and we were kind of edging on Eddy's character, and maybe Eddy a little bit too. And then all of a sudden he slammed his hand on the desk and went, "No more candy talk." And we were all like this. It was great. Was
he being filmed?
We never, it was filmed, but we never knew if it was really Eddy or Eddy being funny, or it was what was he called again, his character?
The official.
The official. It was the best. I giggled about that for days. It was just the greatest line. It just shut everybody up. It was great.
Eddy could handle you guys. That's what helped out with the two of you guys being so irresponsible and so goofy, is that Eddy was such a rock on camera. And even in that first episode, he's so damn good. Everything he says is just so grounded and so serious. It was just so amazing to have him there, and which gave you guys so much permission to screw around and say whatever you want, because he would just pull you guys right back.
And he also, without trying, being really funny. He had incredible comic timing.
Oh, yeah.
And he was great. It was it was kind of a wonderful match. All of us made in heaven.
It was such a masterclass to watch all you guys just go to town.
And don't take anything away from yourself, Mike, because you were wonderful, tossing in all your from the back. Excuse me. Backs. Excuse me. No. This is the way it is. This is the truth.
That's true. You and Eddy had a great.
But you and Eddy had great chemistry too.
My whole goal was to make the show 1% better. I was just I got a couple lines, make the show 1% better every episode, and then just wait until they run out of storylines for you guys, and maybe they'll throw a couple my way. And
they did, didn't they?
Yeah, I got a couple of second season. That was fun. That was so much fun. On the sci-fi nerd, you guys, this was such my dream. This was just the best thing. I'm in a sci-fi show, and you guys remember Armin Shimmerman?
Of course.
I've had him on, I have a Star Trek podcast, and he's been on several times, and he loved the show. He had so much fun. This show was just such this pocket of beautiful stuff that was happening down in San Diego with no oversight. It's just, you guys could do whatever you want. Directors would come down. They had no idea what was going on. It was amazing. It was such a great time.
And some directors like the wonderful Greg Utanis came down, and because it was a free, I don't want to say free for all, but a freestyled environment, he tried so much cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, because we stayed friends, Vinny and I, we ended up doing, Vinny, what show did we do with him? Vegas?
Yeah. Las Vegas or Vegas? Yeah.
And, I think he got a lot of his feet wet doing our show, along with Shapiro. A bunch of directors, handful of directors came down, and were able to be very creative and do really interesting camera moves and all that kind of stuff. So the environment was definitely a very creative environment. So I appreciate that. I thank all you guys for, not, putting up with me. And Eberts, you used to, you remember after a couple of years, you go, "My name is Mike. Do you know that?"
Never call him Mike. You never called him.
I know. I'm like, Eberts. Hey,
I still call him Eberts.
I know. I called you up I don't know. It was like the passing of David Levinson.
I knew somebody had passed.
And I messed you up on that, Paul. Remember that?
I went to the wrong funeral, the wrong day.
Yeah. So I called you off on that, but even then you're like, Eberts, where are we going? I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't know what you're talking about. I didn't know he was having a ceremony. And I thought you were talking about Eddy's service. I was like, Paul, that's not for months away. He's like, it is. Why do I have it like this? And then I was like, I don't know. And then you talked to my son for a long time. It was a great treat. And then you got off the phone, and then Vinny, you went to it, didn't you, Vinny?
Yeah. It was Craig spoke at David's. David didn't want to have a funeral. I guess he called it a celebration, but Jonathan Glassner was there and Craig Silverstein, and Craig spoke, and Craig and David were very, very close and actually collaborated together on several shows because, Craig did a bunch of other TV shows. But David, I guess you guys, the inmates were controlling the asylum, and then they brought David in to try to rein us in, and he did. And there was a little bit of tension, but I think if we didn't have David, the ship may have gone astray sooner. I mean, we did a bunch of episodes in a short amount of time, and a lot of it was David was just an old school kind of producer and made sure there was a script to shoot. And I think he really did love the show, and he loved the characters, and I think we owe him a lot.
We should have questions.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Shannon, Amanda, you want to? If somebody raises their hand, maybe you can unmute them and.
Yeah, we actually have some questions that are coming in through chat, but for those who want to ask them in person, go ahead and raise your hands, and then Mike can call on you. You'll need to unmute yourself, and then when you're done, you'll need to mute yourself back. So feel free to ask your questions. Raise your hands. There's a little raise hand button over there on the right-hand side.
Oh, wow.
All right.
And we got Heather.
Okay. Yeah, Heather. Yeah.
Hi, Heather.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
I never got a chance to go to the Comic-Cons or anything to meet y'all, so this is my first time saying hi to you. Hi.
Hey, Heather.
I was always kind of curious, and this is probably a cornball question, but I was always curious what your guys' favorite episode was. As the fans, we talk a lot about what our favorite episodes were, but I was always wondering what yours were.
Mine was Brother's Keeper.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, I don't know the show as well as.
Paul didn't watch the show.
Mine's easy. It's The Importance of Being Eberts. That was so much fun. I got to have two duplicates of me, two different actors playing me for body doubles and stunt guys, and they put a big latex thing on. Remember they put that big latex life cast on me when I was running away from you guys?
Yeah.
And because I was wearing this green thing over it, my face was like contorted out, and I looked like I had this giant pumpkin head. And so then they had to do a face scan of me like they did with you, Vinny. That was crazy. So that's easy that for me. So
I think mine is my favorite episode just from doing it. I just remember we were so slap happy, and it was just so fun, was the one where we all got poisoned by the mayonnaise.
Germ theory. Is that germ theory? That's another one.
It was just funny. I just remember, it must have been by the end of the episode, we were all going down that hallway, and we were in various stages of sickness.
Yeah.
Oh, I love doing that. Because a lot of the time, it was you guys, and then it was Eddy and Mike, and then me and Vincent, or me and Vinny and Paul. So I felt like we weren't all together a lot. I just loved it when it was everybody.
Yeah, me too.
No, I think it was everyone on that one. We're all vomiting and sorry.
Which was the one? I remember we were doing it was 4 or 5 in a circle, and we could not stop laughing for the life of us.
I think that might have been it. No?
Well, remember we were in a hallway, and I just could not. We got the giggles, and it was the worst case of giggles I've ever had in my life. And I feel like, Anita, sorry, but I think it was Eddie trying to get a line that for some reason, and it went on and on.
I think that was the one where Vince's hair was down.
Is that right?
Oh.
When I was playing my brother?
I don't know if you were playing your brother, but it was like it started off with you were like in the super depressed state of mind and your hair was all flat, and it actually made it into the episode, and they were picking on you because your hair was all flat, and you end up fixing it in the middle of the episode.
Yeah, when you had a cold and we all went into your apartment. Is that it?
Oh, that was my favorite because I had this spray thing.
Yes, you had the Lysol.
That's right.
Was that Germ Theory? Was that the germ one?
I don't remember the names.
I don't know.
Wait, Eric Melton is raising his hand. He has the answer.
Yeah, I believe that was Diseased, the one where Arnaud poisoned you or gave you a disease and the gland got sick.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
It's been
That
a
was
few years
good.
since I've seen it, but yeah.
Eric, we got you on the camera. Do you have a question for us while you're there?
So what about when you talked about improv? I remember you seeing one of the interviews with you and you talking about the one where you're in the hospital and you've lost your memory. So talking about all the improvs, yeah. Remember that one where Flowers for
Hobbs, yeah.
And you were
in a straight
lost your memory and you lost and your short-term memory, so you couldn't remember anything. So if somebody walked in the room, you couldn't remember that they were just there.
Right.
Right. And then you
can't remember the episode.
You were like hiding behind the bed. You thought you were on a mission.
Oh yeah, I crawled out into the hallway or something.
Right. Yeah. And you were hiding behind the bed, and so when you were talking about improv, that was one that I remember you saying that you had just done all kinds of crazy things.
You know, I vaguely remember that stuff, and as you're bringing it up, I'm like, what a blast that was. You know, I was going to say it earlier. You know, from the audition forward, there was obviously a time. You know, there was a part. Vinny will attest to this. I mean, there was a part of Bobby Hobbs that was very much part of me. Like, you know, a little angry, a little defeated, a little depressed, a little bipolar, a little all these things. And it was like the perfect time to be there. And I had the wonderful cast to, let me be crazy. And I remember just I just did it, you know, like
That's a good question, Paul. What character have you played that is closest to who you actually are?
That might be one. Sad to say, the unfortunate Bobby, sad, pathetic, dysfunctional Bobby Hobbs might be the closest one. Thanks for asking, Benny. I appreciate it.
But you were so perfect for it. And I think that's what we all did. Didn't we all just kind of made the part us, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
in the end.
Yeah.
I think it's because we did have those 2 seasons I think I had like a week to go get married and a week, 3 days of a honeymoon, and then we were almost back, right? It was really quick.
It was 6 weeks off, I think.
Was that it? 6 weeks.
Yeah, because they were afraid of either the writer's strike or the actor's strike. So they turned us around really quick, and we did 45 episodes in less than 2 years.
The other thing about this show, aside from the wonderful writing and the whole, you know, if you look at a lot of shows, and I don't watch a lot of, correct me if I'm wrong, but it being the 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5, or it's like the 5 of us, right? Mm-hmm. We were just 5, right? Vinny, me, Shannon, you, and Eddie. That was it. We were the main cast. If you go to a lot of shows these days, there's like 8.
Yeah.
There's like a 4 main team, then there's a 2 or 3 like B team. I mean, you talked about NYPD Blue. I mean, there was like
a lot of regulars. There's this starring so-and-so, 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 so-and-so. And with us, it was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 every week. And there's something about the not efficiency, but the fact that it was this tighter little, almost like a rock band. We was just us, you know.
It was a lot of the times just you and Vinny too. So you would have you barely had a turnover.
The first season that they were working because Vinny was in every shot, basically every single. It was the Invisible Man, and then like us. And I just remember him coming in. Sometimes he'd be so tired. I'm sure you remember Shannon because he just had a baby too.
Oh yes.
And we would go like Wednesday would be the end of episode 7, and then the Wednesday afternoon, the beginning of episode 8. And he's like, "What's going on in this, Mike?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, we're doing this, this, and this." And we were just so confused. And then the second season, they gave us more stories, Shannon. Like you, me, and Eddie, more stories to kind of give him a little bit of a break, him and Paul. So
yeah. The only days we got off was when Ben was born.
Yeah.
Remember that?
We got 3 days off, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Vinny was tired.
And I kind of used that though. Like I remember thinking, God, I mean, here's the truth. I'll say it. It was kind of hard. It did feel like we had been kind of left alone and abandoned. And I sort of played that into the idea of what was my brother's name on the show?
Kevin.
I sort of felt like Kevin left. Remember how Kevin puts the gland in and then he dies? So I'm sort of left with this thing. I sort of felt like that a little bit. Like Matt kind of put this thing in our hands and we were left with it. And okay, what are we going to do with it?
Why did Matt leave? What happened?
Matt left the show.
Didn't he get an illness?
No, his mom had died, and I think he was very, he'd written mostly films, and the time, was so fast, the turnover. But you guys know that he married. We had an executive producer called Valerie Mayhew, and he met her on the show, and they're married.
Oh, that's cool.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so Valerie and her sister were the executive producer of the show for a while. I think before.
I remember them.
I think they hired, actually, Shannon, I think they hired you.
They did, the two sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were really cool and they were really sharp, but I don't know what happened. There was so much going on that we didn't really know. As far as, I ran into Bonnie Hammer years ago and she was like, I didn't cancel that show. Like, I love that show. There was some sort of squabble about who was paying for it. And the business model was a little bit confusing because they were playing on different formats.
Wasn't there a change of the head of network too at Sci-Fi? Was there?
Yeah, I think so. It was a weird time. Remember, Farscape was like their number 1 show, and weren't we like the number 2 show? And they canceled us both like in the same 3 months or something. Is that true? Did that happen?
They couldn't. Because you'd always you showed me the ratings sometimes. You'd be like, hey, Mike, you take a look at this. And I'd kind of pour through it, and we were getting the exact same ratings as Farscape, but because we aired like at 9 and midnight, and they would air like at 8 and 11, and they would count the 8 and 11 together. But for us, they only count the 9. They wouldn't count the 12 because that's not prime time. It's that gets thrown away. And they're like, man, we're getting such a high female demographic. We don't want that. Sci-fi's for guys. And I was like, wow, you guys are really missing the boat on that. So there was a couple things that they were kind of, they didn't understand at that point in time. They didn't know where all the guys
women buy stuff. Women are the consumers.
Yes. Yes, and now they know that. But
any other questions?
Anyway, I was pregnant. I don't know how I could have done that.
Alex?
I was going to put it out to just see.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Alex.
Hello, my name is Alex. Actually, my brother is here, and I don't know. Can you see him? And now I'm 30. So it's actually, I was 10 maybe when the series aired. But one more fact, interesting that my language is Russian. And have you heard or have you seen your series in another languages? It's the first question. The second question is, in your series was a lot of great ideas actually, and there was an idea that the office didn't have money, and we are interested, is that really was the situation that inspired that idea that you always didn't have money to run these all missions, or it was just joke somehow? And one more, please. It was, could you please give some advice to yourself, to your younger self? What if you had this opportunity, what would you say to yourself when you were younger? Thanks. And my one of my favorite episodes was about the post, when there were different versions of one story. It was so fun. It was so hilarious that each of you had it from your own perspective, and I think it's one of the great episodes. But Mayonnaise story was also so cool. Thanks.
Wow. So first, what was it like to hear us in different languages? Anybody?
Yes.
When I went to Sarah's brother got married in France in like 2002, and they were showing it there, Le Invisible Homme, like the Homme, and they were all like, we were huge in France. We had like a 40% share of the audience there. They loved it, and I watched a little bit of it.
If we went today, do you think we'd still get a little, little action?
Hey, if we can kickstart our way out there, I'm up for it, Paul. Let's go there.
Vinny, we were going to go to either France or London, and we never did, and we should have went when it was like, remember those days?
Why didn't we go?
Probably because your fault.
Is it my fault?
Probably.
I think I was up for it.
I think you were. No, we were busy. Everything was a lot of busy time back then. Yeah, but it would have been a blast. Anyway,
the show is called Человек-невидимка in Russian.
I have never seen the show in another language. What's it like in Russian?
Well, it's great, actually. I could have turned on right now the episode, but I think it would take some time, and if people will let me, I will try a bit later to show you so you could hear yourself in Russian.
I have to say, that's one of the things that I didn't know happened. We were where was I? I was in Romania shooting a movie, and the show had just aired. The show had just started broadcasting in Romania, and we went and had some food, and everyone recognized me, and they loved the show. I think it was kind of bigger in other countries in a lot of ways.
I'm actually from Transnistria. We both with brother. It's between Moldova and the Ukraine. So yes, and it's almost 5 a.m. So we thought that yes, it was a big opportunity for us to see you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you all. And I saw Nestor missed that we welcome him. So once again, Nestor, hello.
Yeah, I'll tell him that you said that. We didn't answer the other question, but I don't know what it.
Well, I like that question though. Like Vinny, Paul, and Shannon, what would you guys tell your younger selves as you were doing this series? Would you have any advice?
Paul, you go first.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I don't know if I have any advice. Because advice as another, like, Alex, are you asking as an artist, as an actor, or just as a person? What would you tell? Well, let me answer this. So you can only be who you are in that stage of your life. You can't tell that flower to get out of the ground and bloom quicker. So I look back and I wished I had more sort of life experience, but I was who I was, and you are who you are in every stage of your life. The only thing I could say for people, especially artists and any whatever it is to work hard. Work hard, work harder, then push yourself to the next level. I've been watching The Last Dance. Has anybody been watching that, the Michael Jordan thing?
Oh, Nestor loved it.
A lot of people watching that. I've often equated acting to sports. You know, it's just, if you have the time or whatever, some of us don't because you got family and obligations, but it's putting in those extra hours the way the greats do. So whatever that means in your life, it's just, that's the only advice that I would, but then we were lucky on our show because I didn't necessarily, we worked hard on set. We were just committed. And again, it was the chemistry. We got lucky. The only thing I wish I'd have done was be more grateful back then. I was a little bit hot-headed and young, and I don't know. I just wish I had a little more gratitude. And that was it. I would have liked to have told Ed Ledding and some other folks. But that's it. Be gracious. Work hard.
That's interesting. It's very hard for me to kind of answer that question because I thought we did a pretty damn good job under the circumstances. And Paul, you were always so generous with your process, and I loved your process because it made me better. I knew if I kept doing what I normally would do, you would crush me in the scene. So like you had to show up when you were in the scene with Paul, because if you didn't show up, he would run you over, and I liked it. Like, and the truth is, you were very generous with me, like as like a person, and that made me very comfortable with. I mean, Paul, you can tell them that I had a glass of wine, so maybe I shouldn't say this, but here's the truth. Like, there was a chance Paul wasn't going to continue with the show. Oh. And I was like, Paul, I need you. And because Paul had a lot of stuff going on when the show was about to take off, and he had a lot of different options. And I think it helped. If I had been a jerk, I don't think you would have been quite as interested in doing the show. Is that true, or am I putting words in your mouth?
I don't. It's all very nice to hear, very flattering and very nice. So please continue.
Well, I mean, like, I'm not sure.
I don't remember a lot of it, Vinny. I remember you coming to my house.
Yeah, I'm begging you to do the show.
Yeah, you said, let's do the show. Well, yeah, I was just finishing the Three Stooges. And so there was a lot riding on that and all that stuff. And then this happened, but, we did it, right? I mean, we made the deal and we did it.
Yeah, but I mean, I was very clear, like, the part of the show that was really special to me really was that it was the chemistry between all the characters. And it initially started with me and Paul, and then it widened out. And I have to say, like, Eddy, I remember just acting with Eddy thinking, because I'd seen him in so many movies, like, and I was still 34. I had done some stuff, but Eddy was at this place where he'd seen it all, and he'd been through it all, and he worked with everybody, and he was just there and like standing and delivering. And I just knew that there were so many different aspects to the show, and we had this, Paul had a space, and then Mike, you kind of brought this kind of Coen Brothers. I remember the shot that Breck framed the very first time we were shooting it. We shot it down in downtown San Diego, and Breck was like, look at the lens. And it was like a wide lens, and you were behind Eddy, and it was kind of, it just was kind of distorted, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then they brought in Shannon. And so it just felt like we were kind of this, I don't know. I don't know if I would have done too much different. I mean, I guess maybe I would have we fought pretty hard to try to keep going. I do think 9/11 had something to do with it. I think people hit pause, and I don't know. I mean, I do feel like I was kind of a dick, you know, like Paul would be, remember I would get upset on set sometimes, and Paul was like, dude, you've got to chill out. Do you remember that, Paul?
I don't, but I'm thrilled if I was somewhat of a good guy at some point.
Mike, do you remember me being a jerk? I know Shannon knew me, so I probably wouldn't be too big of a jerk when she was around. Was I a jerk to you, Shannon?
No, never. No.
You were the best, Vinny. I mean, because I was a recurring name in the first season. You know, they kept me out of the last episode, so they wouldn't have to bump me up to series regular. Like they wrote me out of that one just so they wouldn't have to do that. But every episode, you'd be like, "Are you in the next one?" And it's like, "I don't know. I'm not sure." And you'd be like, "I'm going to give him a call." And then all of a sudden, I was in the next episode. So you were great. You would get mad at the inefficiency. I remember sometimes you getting mad at people who were dicking around, who weren't taking it seriously. And when the planes would go overhead, remember we had that airstrip? Yeah. And you just go to the camera, you go, fuck! You lived the show so hard. I don't think anyone ever thought you were
okay, Mike. You just reminded me something. And this is something maybe all of us know better. I was so kind of insecure. Like, my mind was, I have one good take in me, and I hope to God they get it.
Yeah, but you didn't.
But that was my mentality. And so often I would do something that I thought was good, and I was like, oh, good, we can move on. And they'd be like, no, we got to do it again. And that is the worst part of acting, right? When something goes well, and then they say, okay, can you do that again? Like, it's awful.
I remember you, Vinny, as a very wonderful executive. I always thought, you know, you just your stature, people listen to you, you're incredibly articulate. I don't remember you being mean. I remember you just being in control. As if this show was happening today, you'd be an executive producer. You know, you'd be the lead of the show. You'd be today the leads are executive producers or producers on some level. So you were very comfortable in that position. You understood the story, where the show should go. I just followed your lead. I remember just.
But here's the truth. But see, that doesn't happen. I mean,
no.
Well, it would happen now because, you know, I hadn't done that much stuff. Right. But now, if they recast the Invisible Man now, like you could get a huge movie star to play that part. Like it was still the TV days where someone with not a ton of experience or, you know, not a star could still get a lead in a television show.
Yeah, because movie stars weren't doing TV back then.
Right. And that 9/11, I think, did change that a bit, right?
I do remember getting really pissed off at you two. One day we were in Balboa Park, and you both were being divas about your wardrobe, and you decided not to wear the shirts they told you to wear. And you had the same color shirts on as my wardrobe. And so I was out there, and it was really far out to where our trailers were. And so I had to get called back to my trailer. The wardrobe lady, I can't remember her name, she said, you have to change. I was like, what? She goes, you have to change into this outfit. And I hadn't tried it on or anything. I was like, really? Really? I said, why? And she said, because Paul and Vinny changed their wardrobe. And I was like, oh, come on, they're guys. They can put on anything. And she goes, you got to do this for me. I was like, why? And she goes, because when you had that first lab coat, the network said your ass looked really big. I was like, what? And then she said, and I made you a whole new lab coat, and it really made your ass not look so big. So I did that for you, and now you have to do this for me.
Wow. Shannon, I love your honesty. These are the best stories.
Wow. I remember you telling me that. I remember you saying that at one point in time and saying, like, I had a big ass. I'm like, what?
First of all, I never asked for you to change the lab coat. And why do you have to tell me I had a big ass? I thought my ass was fine.
We all thought your ass was fine, Shannon. Nobody thought that except for some stupid network executive who has a problem.
I know. But she didn't
eating disorder network executive. I don't know who it was. That's
when I became a bulimic after that.
God.
I didn't.
Oh God.
That was the only time I got pissed off.
Wow.
The only.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, isn't it? So
Well, it wasn't me arguing about my outfit. I'm sure it was absolutely Vinny, and I was just had to change.
it was both of you just changing your wardrobe willy nilly.
Well, I have to say, I mean, I just remember that I turned into like, at times, the worst version of myself. But I think it did have to do with, you know, I wanted to get home to my kid, and there's a lot of hours, and but man, I remember watching the shows on Friday, and I sure liked the shows. I sure liked what we did and what we made, and it's, you know, I wanted to thank all of you guys for coming to this, but because I loved the show. But it's weird when I really love something, I'm kind of scared other people don't love it, and then when you do a show that gets canceled, you're like, see, they didn't love it. But like, I'll still go out and I'll meet people, and they'll go and they'll say, I like this episode or this episode. I mean, kind of every week, and it's probably the best part of my week, because you're like, wow, we made something a long time ago that was meaningful not only to me but to other people, and to connect with other people that love the characters and the storylines, and we know how we made it under what circumstances. Like, we were kind of limping along all the time. I mean, like Paul said, I thought we were going to shut down, but I think we were pretty unlucky with 9/11, but we were pretty damn lucky to make, how many did we make? 47, 46?
No.
I think, was it 45, everybody?
45?
I think
45.
Yeah, 45, 46, yeah.
46. That's a lot of episodes of television.
Yeah. And, you know, Vinny, I'll say, first of all, that was really eloquently said. I have to say, that was really nice. And I think Vinny and Paul, you guys don't look back and regret it or anything you guys did. I mean, in the moment, it was absolutely the things that had to be. You guys were so iconic and so important to why there's a group of people who still follow the show 20 years later. You know, I mean, the whatever the secret sauce of the two of you guys, that, you know, the attitudes, you know, the cavalier attitude, it was so, it made everything so much.
Well, it's what you guys were talking about earlier. It was a family. It was a family show.
Right.
And I think we all are from families, so we like seeing this kind of group that comes together and how they kind of navigate. I really felt like the show had a lot more to do. But we did what we could with the time that we had, right?
Yeah. And at least we got a finale, you know, at least you know, as you said, we ended on a comma, not a period. I always remember you telling me that, like, you felt like we ended on a comma, not a period.
Who said that?
You said that.
Wow. That's such a good idea. I mean, there's no way I said that, but that's it.
Yeah, you said it. You said it.
Well, I think everybody here or probably doesn't know. Like, I do think there's more to the story, and I think we could pick it up. I would love to do that. I've talked about it with some people. We'll see if. I mean, obviously we're not the right demographic at this point.
We like the Golden Girls of the Invisible Man.
That's kind of how I pitched it, actually, which I think is a great way to pitch it. Like, that's really funny.
That'd be great.
But who knows? You know, who really knows? Because I do think there's more there.
You know, I have a recurring dream that you guys all carried on with the show and you didn't tell me. Isn't that weird?
Wow.
I come into the set and I go, what happened? Why didn't ask me? So weird.
That's a daddy issue. That's a daddy.
It's a Paul issue. I used to love how your character would like fumble his words around me, and
I've got to go in like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
But I love that. I'm so like, I knew you know, I know a lot of the names, and I remember you guys writing stuff. But I would be happy to do this again. This is great. I would love to like hear your guys' stories the next time. So let's see if we could set some. If you guys are interested, Mike, if you'd want to set it up.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Vance. We really do appreciate it. I know there's a bunch of fans that have questions that are waiting, but if you've got to go, yeah, maybe some other time we can do this.
Yeah, I would love that. I'm sorry that I can't stay longer. I'm just in the both my kids are home, and so we're kind of navigating a bunch of different stuff at the same time, and it's hard on everybody. I'm sure you guys are hard. Like it's a weird time to navigate stuff. But yes, If Mike, if you could help set it up, I would love to do that.
Let's find a time. We're all fairly, house locked still, here and.
How about one last question before I go? Would that be cool?
Yeah, Mel, Dr. Mel has a question. She's been waiting for a while, so.
Why don't you go ahead and unmute yourself? Yeah. Okay.
So, it's kind of a question and a statement. So I was about 13 years old when the show was on the air. So I kind of grew up and I guess the question is not really a question. I guess I just want to say thank you because I've made some long-lasting 20-year relationships with all of these lovely ladies that are on here. And it helped me through a really tough time when I was 13. And I just want to say, Vince, you're still hot. You're on my wall in my bedroom. And Darian was on my list of baby names. I lost because my son's name is Bo. But if I have another boy, I'm gonna win.
Oh, that's great. Bo's pretty good, but yeah. that actually means so much to me. Like it's weird when you get older. It's nice to be appreciated. So thank you so much. And that's so crazy that you were 13, and it is cool. Like the show created a community, and you guys got to connect with each other. Like I have to say, like back to what you were saying, Mike. If I could go back and re-understand what television can do, and is that it can create a broader family, and you guys have done that. And I didn't know that. Like I was just trying to figure out how to be an actor, and it's like we made something that touched you guys and then brought you guys together. That was right at the onset of like the internet, right? Like I remember email was kind of a new thing at that point. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, the thing that you probably, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, I'm sure some of the ladies have shared, but we talked a lot of stuff about you guys on our chat rooms. These conversations were probably the highlight of my growing up, was being able to talk about you guys, talk about the show, talk about the episodes. Like as they're happening, we would have live chats right when the internet was starting. So, and I feel I've grown up in front of half of these ladies. I've grown up. So it's just it's been an amazing ride, and I'm so excited to be able to.
That's really cool. Well,
talk to you guys.
I just think I'm excited to finally kind of meet you guys, because I knew we were making it and you guys were there, but I never kind of knew about it so much.
Amazing.
I remember the first time. Remember when the fans showed up midway through the first season, you guys? It was
yes.
Like as you're talking, Vinny, about the internet and all that sort of stuff, and we had sort of organized, or they had sort of organized, and they came into the set, and I'd never experienced anything like that. They were so excited to see us. We were so excited to see them, because it was brand new, but you guys meant so much to all of us. It was just so cool to have the people who came on set, but it was such an amazing experience, and like literally one of the first times I think that the internet kind of brought in fans to a set.
I remember that. It was pretty late, right? Was it nighttime or was it daytime?
It was afternoon, I want to say. Yeah. Do you guys remember?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was afternoon. I think it was day.
Yeah.
It was daytime. Yeah, it was daytime.
Who was there by a show of hands? I'm curious. 1, 2. Who was there? 3. 4.
And did you guys all meet and rendezvous in San Diego? So that was the first time you guys had met in person.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for coming down. I mean, wow.
Comic-Con, I remember a lot of people at Comic-Con too.
Comic-Con was great.
Comic-Con was insane that first year.
Amazing.
That was nuts. We spent 2 days, right? And just lining up hundreds and hundreds of people. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it was our one day off and I didn't know my lines for the next day. So I remember being kind of like panicked. All right. Well, I better take off. You guys can continue on, but I'm sorry I can't stay longer, but I would love to do this again whenever you guys want. And I really thank you guys so much for loving a show that I love so much. And I miss my Iron family. Okay.
Thank you so much, Vince. Thank you. We appreciate you coming.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye, Brittany.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
I don't know how to hit leave. There it is. All right. See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Guys, just real quick. I have to go. My dog is crying to go out. It's really amazing seeing all of you, the fans as well as the cast. So, but I wanted to say bye. You guys take care of yourselves.
Bye, Melissa.
Bye, Melissa.
Bye, Melissa.
Well, maybe we should all just sign off so it's not.
Oh, yeah. I have something to say. Can I say something before we go?
Yes.
Kind of promoting something. I wrote a book and it's getting published. So
awesome. That is awesome.
Wonderful. Really cool. So hopefully you guys can buy it. It comes out in the middle of March and it's called All Is Not Lost. And it's sort of referring to Lost actually because the book is sort of a memoir, but it takes place the year that my whole family moved to Hawaii because Nestor was on Lost. And I think you guys would like it, especially because it's a very female book, but it's a book about kind of what happened to me. It's about having a dream and then sort of stepping aside to take care of your kids and dealing with your ego and your ambition and trying to reconcile with that and kind of the journey that I took in order to do that. But really on that island, it was that year away we took on that island was a big part of the journey I took. But it's also a little bit of a love song to the show Lost. I don't know if you guys liked Lost. And then it's Vinny and Di are in it. They're in a part of a chapter. And it's also a really good look. There's no gossip about Lost or anything, but it's sort of parallels a lot of what the characters on Lost went through with the connection to the island, which I found myself. And it is a little bit of a kind of an invitation into an actor's world. No gossipy thing, but really what it takes to be an actor a little bit. But it's a journey a lot of women will relate to, I think. And it comes out mid-March. So if you guys are interested, I'd love you to look at it.
I want a signed copy.
Okay, you get one. Yeah, it's been a long time in the making, but I'm really happy it's getting published.
Very exciting. Congratulations, Shannon.
Thank you. Yeah.
Paul, what are you going to be in next? What's your next? I saw you in The Banker. I saw you in The Irishman. You're in all these thes. What's the next the?
I'm in something with Mel Gibson called Waldo. Now it's called Last Looks with Charlie Hunnam and Mel Gibson, Clancy Brown.
Wow. I love Clancy.
Yeah, he's great.
So good.
And, Baker and the Beauty. I just did a movie called Blood and Money that just came out. It's on the internet. Buddy of mine, John Barr, directed it with Tom Berenger. The Banker I just did with Samuel. Jack, you said The Banker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something called Brothers Crossing with Dan Roebuck. You know Dan Roebuck, Mike? You know Dan Roebuck. I think he did actually. He did our show.
Yeah, he was in a couple of episodes. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. That's what's going on. I'm also writing. I don't know if you guys saw the play that I did that I co-wrote with my mom, and we're working on a deal with that to be a show. So that's where I'm developing. Yeah.
Great.
Keep them busy.
And Mike, tell everyone what you're doing.
I am writing more than acting now. I stopped acting for a few years now. I was writing on Disney and Adult Swim, and I have a show, an animated show that's finally getting made, and the pilot's being made. It's animated. We're doing it in Australia.
Wow.
And yeah, it's well, the two guys who created it are Australian, so we just said let's do it there. So, but we're just getting cast now, and yeah, that's been a long road. Been about 2.5 years getting that going. So it's a sci-fi set in the future. So yeah, sci-fi comedy animated.
What is the title?
It's called Sweatland. It's very funny. It's good Australian meets American comedy. I don't think I can say too much more about it, but yeah. So hopefully that will finally happen. But
hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're going to come to Australia?
I so want to. We were all set to go. We'll be down there for a few weeks each time.
Oh.
We're running it, and then like COVID and.
Oh.
I know, and the animation's the one thing that can continue on during all of this because people just stay at home and draw, and so they're going to be doing it, and I'll be here. So that's.
Where are you in Australia?
I'm in Perth, Western Australia. Yeah.
I'm from Sydney.
Ah, sweet.
Are you still a vet down there? You were the veterinarian, right? Or no?
For me? No, I'm an artist and a writer. So not a vet.
That's okay. That's niche. Okay, you're the veterinarian, right? And are you in Australia?
Yes, Brisbane.
See, I'm not wrong about that. I knew that there was a man in Australia who was a veterinarian. So
that's incredible.
What other countries? We've got Australia. We've got Russia.
Transnistria, actually.
What?
Where are you?
Transnistria. It's not Russia. It's Transnistria. Well, we have another name called Pridnestrovia. I know it sounds much harder to spell, to say, but we have actually 3 national languages. It's Russian, Ukrainian, and Moldavian. So,
wow. What other countries? Any other countries?
Another Australian.
Oh my God!
Hi.
Where are you? Where do you live?
I'm in Melbourne.
You're in Melbourne.
Go Aussie.
Yeah.
Australian.
You're Australian too?
Yeah.
Jessica.
Yeah. I'm from Brisbane.
Oh my God. And Nishma, where are you?
I'm in Brisbane as well.
Wow. No Sydneyers.
Shannon, you inspired so many people.
University of Oh, you went to Sydney Uni?
Yes, I did.
Wow. And then I had one of my best friend is up in Brisbane.
Connections.
Yeah, and I want to go to Perth. Do you follow Brodie Moss?
No, okay, no.
Oh, so amazing. That's why I want to go to Western Australia. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, you can come meet me if you do.
I will. Oh, you don't worry, I will. And Anita, what are you going to be directing anything?
Well, right now, with the COVID and housebound,
of course.
all I can do is a Zoom meeting with my play lab occasionally with Interact.
But soon.
Yeah. I'm still working with Stephanie and her one-woman plays,
Okay.
But, certain performances had to be called off.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Onward.
The whole industry is down.
Yeah. Anyway, it's so nice to see all of you. Thank you for asking me, Michael.
Oh, of course.
I so enjoyed this.
Hope he's watching.
Yeah, we miss him very much. I think about him. I think about him more than on occasion.
I sent you the Vimeo of the memorial.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I haven't looked at it. It's I'll give it a little time and then I'll check it out. Oh well.
Hey, Mike, why don't you give us that podcast info that you were mentioning earlier?
Oh, I've been doing a podcast for the past 4 years about Star Trek called I Just Want to Talk About Star Trek.
And where can we find that?
On the internet. It's on Starburns Audio or something like that. It's I don't do it as much as I used to. I had a real midlife crisis about 4 years ago, and so I put it all through the lens of Star Trek, and I went to Riverside, Iowa, which is the birthplace of Captain Kirk in about 200 years, and I competed in the costume contest, and I won. I won $60. And, I was very excited about that.
Yeah.
I did a monologue. That's what sealed the deal. But I decided to trace a whole year of my life through that, and I've been just doing it ever since. So if you like Star Trek, or if you like to hear me talk about liking Star, look at Ed's got the right there. So you don't have to subscribe. It's absolutely not necessary. This is not a cross-pollination for that. So it's just me working out my issues when I'm not working out my issues about Invisible Man. So
very good.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Well, should we call it here? This feels like this is a good place to kind of say.
Yeah.
I'm going to say good night.
I want to thank
you all. Thank you.
And thank you so much, everybody. You really went above and beyond. This is such a treat for us fans. It really was. So thank you so much.
This was awesome, guys. You're awesome.
Oh,
thanks so much for doing this, Mike.
The whole show is the inspiration still, and as Winston said, it was the family show, but also it was so much about wisdom, about all those phrases that still inspire. So thank you all, guys. Watching you was and still is real pleasure. And one of the cool things is that the show is still cool because of all of you, all the cast, all the people who support people in the cast, the crew. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your
Thanks
time.
for organizing. It was awesome.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
guys.
Amanda.
Yeah, thanks for
And
having
thanks,
us.
Shannon and Anita and Paul,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next time
Good night,
I hear about
everybody.
you guys. I want to hear your
Shannon,
story.
call me sometime. I'm home a lot.
I will. And Anita, we will. We'll walk. We'll walk.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
It's kept us alive. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
I don't know how to get off either. Oh, yeah.